tweets, listening to my last session and then telling me it was crisp, lucid, was useful and all that. Talking about social media, it gives me great pleasure to tell you, immediately I receive tweets from people who have been watching online. Thank you very much for that. And this topic, this session, is the topic that changed my life. I would tell you that there have been two things that have changed my life of my 22 years of my career, the way in which I function, the way in which I live. It's not about those soft skills that you have been listening to all, but it's a technology. That's what have changed. And even before going into this session, Prakash told me that I got 2 minutes extra. So let me tell you, if you ask me, what is the next 5-10 years, what you should concentrate on in terms of brand, in terms of corporate world, in terms of business? What is that one thing that I will concentrate on in the next 5 to 10 years and bet my life is today called social business. You might go and Google this term or search this term and you would find a lot of new information, and that's the main thing today. What is social business is, you know what is mobile? Everything is moving to mobile. Now we will see what is cloud computing. We spoke in the last 2 sessions about social media, and there is one more thing called big data. The convergence of all these 4 and business is going to be social business, to simply put it. And traditionalists is going to find it difficult how business will shape with the convergence of these 4 things. So coming back to this session, we spoke about social media in the last 2 sessions. That is one part of social business. Another part of social business is cloud computing. Now we will understand the basics of cloud computing. One thing I want to say right up front is, I'm not a technologist. I'm not a techie guy. I'm a user. So this session would be cloud computing from a user perspective. How has it changed my life? What has it contributed to me and my business? That's why I have turned the session as cloud computing and you. So the plan of this talk, next 30 minutes, would be this. I'll introduce you to the concept, and then we also step back and see how do we use computing devices today, and then what is cloud computing all about, and then how can it make your life better. I will tell you how it made my life better also, and what are the current status of cloud computing, and what are the future promises it holds, and then probably we will conclude how cloud computing is going to be a vital part of the future. Now let's say that, can you imagine an individual or a SME or an enterprise without computers? I don't know if you have, I'm sure you have not been a part of. We have been a part of where there was no mobile, there was no computer, it was all on paper. Now people can't even think of it. So, and also, but in the next slides that you would see, you have been part of how we use computing devices today. We are still very, very old fashioned. You take a newspaper and see the advertisement. We still see advertisements of hardwares, powerful laptops, and the combo offers that comes with it. Hence, I would say we are highly old fashioned. We are still very, very old fashioned. Now today, people buy powerful, expensive laptops and desktops and really bloated software. Whenever I say that people buy expensive Office package, Microsoft Office, and if you take that away from them, they don't know how to work with the computer. In many of the cases, they don't know how to create a Word document without their Microsoft Office, or make a presentation without that. So they buy bloated software. Some people might say, no, it comes cheap. It comes cheap because of pirated. And let me tell you, any security professional of IT will warn you that you have more risk buying a pirated software because you are vulnerable to attacks. So when you look at the originals, they are expensive and they are bloated because of revisions, other things that we will see. And also we buy applications which are device dependent. Suppose I buy Microsoft Office, let's say, and then create a Word document and store it in my laptop. Now, I have come here and let's say I don't have my laptop. What do? I am device dependent. Unless you give me my laptop, I cannot do anything. And then data in silos. People say, no, whenever I say, what if your computer crashes? They immediately say, no, I have backed it up in my USB, I have done it in a CD and all that. Okay, you are in a customer place, let's say. Your data is in your USB or your CD or whatever it is. And there is a good deal that you want to close the sale. And there is one information that you have got to check. How will you check? Now, if this has happened 3 years before, let's say there is a product you are selling, there is an invoice, you just want to know the pricing of the last pricing, and it was 3 years before, let's say. And then now you don't know which backup CD, which backup hardware, you have that information and you don't have access. So data like that in silos is not going to give you business, is not going to help you move forward. And then very little knowledge or business intelligence got from it. Suppose I have all the, I always say, love to say this word, there is something called institutional memory. An institution, when they grow 10, 15, 20 years, they have a lot of situations that they have dealt with. They have lot of information that can be reused. There is a lot of wealth of data that is available, but is it accessible? That is what one has to ask. And even if you have to make it accessible, see the systems that you should have. So I don't think in today's world we use our business intelligence. And most, you leave all that, even at a personal level. I always say, if I meet a person once and I have his data, and if I can check it like this, I think I'll be very, very powerful. I'll be very, very wealthy. Because most of the times, 2 years back, I have met that person, we have had some interaction, we exchanged some emails, but I have completely forgotten and I have no way to get that out like this. So I don't gain anything from data that I create. That's my contention. Today, we don't gain anything from the data that we create. And then we underutilize broadband. I have a powerful broadband connection. What do I use? I surf, I chat, I see some videos, news. What else do I do? Do I work only with that? We don't. I would say we are using 30% of our broadband potential. And mobile phones are productivity killers. The mobile phones that we have, we use it for talking. Talking and talking and talking. Talking. See, suppose somebody you call, you just want one information. You can't straight get to the point. You got to ask him, how are you, this, that. Probably the subject moves on. And you wanted a small information and you have spent half an hour. So I always say, mobile phones, if used, how we use it, are productivity killers. So, okay, all these problems have been there. So, what do we do about it? Luckily, I'll tell you, that's why I say it has changed my life. So, all these have been there, but how do we take care of it? Enters cloud computing. I have to say that there was a gentleman in Sun Microsystems and who dreamt about what is today's cloud computing. He dreamt where network will act as a computer. That was his dream. That time, no, people didn't understand what he said, and today's cloud computing is very close to that dream concept. And what is cloud computing? In cloud computing, you don't need powerful hardwares. You don't need many of the things today that you use. How? We will see that. In cloud computing, network is a computer. See, I'll tell you to easily understand. If you look at, most of us would not have seen that because we all grew with grid and electricity. in the past, if a company wants electricity or power, they have to put up their power plant and then draw power from there. Then came the grid system. So now you use it, you just switch on, switch off, you don't know who produces this, how it is distributed, nothing you know. You take a connection and you have this, switch on, switch off, pay for what you use. Exactly, that is what is cloud computing all about. Hello, are you able to hear? Yeah. So cloud computing is about network as a computer. I was talking about electricity. So the moment you see, you open a tap, you get water. What if you get your computing resources like that? That is exactly what cloud computing is all about. And then raw computing resources from the cloud. You can scale up, scale down, switch on, switch off, and your data and applications are in the cloud. A lot of people, if you are not used to the jargon, don't understand what is a data or what is an application. So I would say that if you buy Microsoft Office and put it inside your computer, desktop or laptop, that is application. Microsoft Office is an application, and you create a Word document or an Excel document or a PowerPoint or whatever you create with it is data. Now both data and application will be in the cloud. The classic example is the email you use, Gmail. You don't download anything. You have not put anything inside your computer. You have an internet connection, you open your email, and what you have created inside your email, sent, inbox, and all that is your data. So both data and applications are on the cloud. The simplest example is the email example, but almost you can do anything with your data and application. All kinds of applications today are available on the cloud. And then on-demand availability. As I said, when you want, you open your email, you close it, and it is not device dependent. You can use my laptop, an internet cafe's desktop, or your mobile phone. From almost any device where you have an internet connection, you can use it. So it's on demand and location and device independent. So I don't need to be at a single place at my office to access that. For example,